Hi. Today, in this video, we'll solve a classic variable sliding window problem. We need the smallest subarray with sum greater than or equal to s. So I will explain the approach and then write the Java code step by step. So initially, the problem. First, I will write the problem statement. So that then we'll solve the problem. Here, given an array of positive positive integers and a number s, find the length find the length of the smallest contiguous subarray whose sum is greater than or equal to s. And if no such subarray exists, return 0. So the key point here is the array, assuming that array has positive numbers, that's what makes like sliding window work nicely. So we can also solve this using brute force method, which would try like every start index and every end index and calculate sums repeatedly and track the smallest length, and that becomes slow. And we can follow that method also, but the time complexity of that method is uh, big big O of n squared. But now I'll show the sliding window, which will have time complexity of big O notation of n. So in this approach, we'll use two pointers, left and right, and we expand right to make sum big enough. Once sum is greater than or equal to s, we try to shrink from the left to minimize the window, as I explained the sliding window concept in my previous shot. So this is I'm going to solve using sliding sliding window. Expand. This is the approach I'm typing. Expand right until sum greater than or equal to s. Then shrink. Then shrink left while sum greater than or equal to s, and track track minimum length. So this is the approach I would follow. So let me start with the uh, coding. Let me start with by creating a class. Let's do subarray with sum. So always, if you remember, Java class start with a public static void main method. So public static void main. Here in this method, let me take an array. Let me take an array of numbers. Take an array of numbers. It is 2 comma 1 comma 3 comma 2. So here, let us take the smallest subarray. Some let us take it as 7, and let me print the output of the method that I'm gonna write now. In this case, the uh, smallest subarray with the sum greater than or equal to the expected one would be the 2. Expected will be the 2 because the smallest subarray, the sum, if you check, there were 5 plus 2, that would become is the sum equal to 7. So that's the reason I added it as the expected answer 2, because the 5 2 is the smallest window with the sum 7. So let me write the method, static method. Let me start with the find minimum length. So it expects array of numbers and the sum, which is also an integer. So need to add a return statement, return of type integer. So let us, this method returns the minimum length. If no window exists, it returns the 0. So let us initialize the variables. Let us take min length as max value and window sum. Let us take window sum as 0. Left as 0. So min length starts as a very large number. So any valid window will be a smaller one. That's the reason I taken min length as a maximum value here. So now let us take a for loop. And y is equal to 0. Spot length Windows sum Windows sum plus is equal to nums which y. Okay, so I'm looping with the array, and I'm taking each number in an array, and I'm summing that into the Windows sum, and And also I'm checking if window sum greater than or equal to the given sum. If it is greater than or is equal to window sum, then I'm taking that and tracking the minimum length as well. So that will be easy for me to track. So and return the min length. So let me take the min length and I will also debug this and I will show it to you guys. So after picking the Windows minimum length, then uh, I'm from the left I'm uh, removing an element so that I can get the minimum length of the subarray whose sum is greater than or is equal to S. So I'm incrementing the left and so once sum is enough, we try to string from the left. We update the minimum length before shrinking because current window is valid. So here my return statement would be min length is equal to integer dot max value which we initialize. So if it is the same one, we return 0 and or else we return min length. So this is the uh, if expected one. If min length never change, it means no valid sub array exists. In that case, it returns a zero. This method returns zero. Let me run this and see the result. And after that, I will explain by debugging. So if you see, we got the result has 2, which is expected. So the code, the here, let me put a debug so that you guys will easily understand. So if we run this in debug mode, see, one, if we go inside this, now we are giving an array of 215, and the sum as 7. If we go inside this method, we are initializing minimum length as the maximum value, window sum, and left is 0. So minimum length value is this, window sum, left is 0. So num's length, this array length is 6 2 1 5 2 3. So if the now we are in the for loop, we are initializing the right value and we are summing up each value going towards right. If you see, window sum is 0 previously. Now, as I step over this, you will get window sum is 2 because the first element got added to the window sum. So, is that sum is greater than 7? No. So, the next, it goes to the next element. And the next element is 1. Now, 1 gets added to the 2. Now, the value becomes 3, window sum. Still, it is not greater than some S. Still, it is not greater than S. So, again, it goes to the next element. If you see, the next element is 5. The window sum is 3. If I add the 5, now the window sum becomes 8, which is greater than S because S value is 7. So the condition satisfies here and the control enters into the while loop and the minimum length out of this, like left value, if you see the left value is 0, this is 0, I mean I initialized it with the 0, and the right value is right index value 0, 1, 2. So this sum is 8, and right index value is which is 2, 0, 1, 2. So if we take right is 2, 2 minus 0, that is 2, 2 plus 1, that is 3, right? And min length value is this which we initialized with the maximum integer value. So minimum of these two is 3. So now the min length become 3. And now we try to string the window. So if we remove this leftmost element 2, then the window sum becomes 6, and we increment it left, and if you see again the window sum is false. So then we go to the, so in this way we loop through all the elements. So now the right value is becomes 3. The right value becomes 3. Now the window sum becomes 8, right? So now the window sum which is greater than or equal to 7. Previously we have window length as 3, Windows length has 3, and the rightmost value is this, right index value is 3, left is 1, 3 minus 1, that is 2, 2 plus 1, 3. Minimum of 3, 3 is again 3. So min length value will not change. And the window sum now becomes, because this left is 1, right? So this 3 combination 1 plus 5 plus 2, which is 8, if we remove this element 1, then it becomes 7. Window sum becomes 7. And we are incrementing the left to 2. Now the window sum is 7, which is equal to S, so it becomes 2. If we take the minimum length, previously minimum length is 3, and the right is 3, 3 minus left is 2, 3 minus 2, which is 1, 1 plus 1, 2. Minimum of 3 and 2 is 2. Now the min length changes to 2, and the window sum becomes less than 7, which is 2, and the left becomes 2. Now the condition won't satisfy. Again, again it starts from the for loop, which is now the right becomes 4, and the window sum becomes a 5, which does not satisfy the condition. Again, it comes out of the loop, and again the right becomes 5, and and the window sum becomes 7, and the it satisfies the condition, but minimum length is previously present is 2, and now the right is 5, 5 minus 3, 5 minus 3 is 2, and 2 plus 1, 3, and minimum of these 2 is again 2. So the min length will be 2. Again left 3, and its condition won't satisfy. Again right becomes, again there are like only up to 5 index, right? We looked over through all the elements, and once it comes out of this, we have min length as 2. That means if you see here, the smallest sub array with sum is, I hope you understand, and the time complexity is big O of n. The time complexity is, because each in this case it is big O of n because each pointer moves forward at most n times, and the space complexity is One day I would explain what is space complexity and time complexity in detail so that you guys will understand. So this is core idea of variable sliding window. Grow and shrink. Next, we will solve longest substring problems using the same pattern.